Welcome to what is happening in today with Crowning Thoughts. Santiago D.C. Maria Truth Speaker.
Exposed, ICE's deadly lie in Minneapolis video shreds the federal spin. Listen up, everyone. What happened in Minneapolis on January 7, 2026 is a blatant example of federal overreach gone deadly wrong. An ICE agent shot and killed a 37-year-old U.S. citizen named Renee Nicole Good during a massive immigration enforcement operation in South Minneapolis. This wasn't some heroic self-defense story like the feds are pushing. No. The video footage and eyewitness accounts paint a completely different picture, one that's infuriating, heartbreaking, and demands accountability right now. We're talking about a woman who wasn't even a target, just trying to get away from the chaos, gunned down in her own vehicle. And the lies from DHS, Trump, and Kristi Noem, they're crumbling under the weight of the evidence. Let's break this down step by step because you deserve the unfiltered truth, not the gaslighting. First off, set the scene. This all went down near East 34th Street and Portland Avenue in South Minneapolis. ICE was out in force, conducting what they call a targeted enforcement operation. But things escalated fast. Multiple videos circulating online show Renee Good's dark SUV sitting stationary with federal agents swarming nearby. She's not charging at anyone. She's not ramming vehicles. In fact, the footage clearly captures her vehicle attempting to reverse or turn away as agents approach. It's a move that looks like pure panic, like someone desperate to escape a dangerous situation, not launch an attack. Eyewitnesses on the ground confirm this. She appeared obviously scared, just wanting to leave the area before an agent drew his firearm and unleashed multiple shots right into her vehicle. Think about that for a second. Renee Nicole Good was a 37-year-old poet, a mother, described by her family as extremely compassionate and non-confrontational. She lived in the Twin Cities with her partner, and her car had children's items in it. She was there as a legal observer, watching out for her immigrant neighbors amid these aggressive federal raids. Not a rioter, not a terrorist. A U.S. citizen doing what any decent person might, keeping an eye on things to ensure fairness, and for that she ends up dead. The video shows no sign of her lunging at officers or using her SUV as a weapon. Agents are standing around, not visibly injured or pinned. One even fires shots from behind as her vehicle moves away slowly. That's not self-defense, that's reckless force. Now contrast that with the federal narrative. DHS Undersecretary Kristi Noem claims this was an act of domestic terrorism. They say Good weaponized her vehicle and tried to run over ICE officers, injuring them and posing an imminent deadly threat. President Trump echoes this, backing the agent fully. Noem doubles down, insisting the FBI investigation will prove it was justified. But hold on, where's the proof? Local officials who have seen the full footage are calling it out as pure fabrication. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey didn't mince words. He labeled the self-defense claim garbage and demanded ICE get the hell out of the city immediately. He says the video shows no indication her car was aimed at officers. It was moving away, not toward them. Governor Tim Walz is preparing the National Guard amid the furor and calling for a full, independent investigation because the discrepancies are too glaring to ignore. It's disgusting how quickly the feds spin this to fit their agenda. They label her a violent rioter. Without evidence, while the reality on video shows agents denying a physician access to her body afterward, telling bystanders to just relax as if a life wasn't just taken. Protests erupted right away, people gathering with flowers, candles, and a makeshift cross at the scene. Vigils are underway, crowds surrounding memorials chanting for justice. And why wouldn't they? This isn't an isolated incident, it's part of a broader crackdown that's spreading terror in communities. Kamala Harris nailed it when she accused the Trump administration of pure gaslighting and demanded a fair probe. Even NYC Mayor Zohran Mamdani condemned the raids as cruel and inhumane, vowing to uphold sanctuary policies to protect residents. Let's be real here. This kind of manipulation erodes trust in our institutions. When video contradicts the official story, Yet politicians like Trump and Noam double down on lies. It fuels division and danger. Witnesses say Good was deliberately trying to block traffic. No, the accounts align more with her impeding ICE vehicles unintentionally while attempting to flee. One eyewitness described her as very successful in blocking traffic, but in the context of protesting or observing, not attacking. The slow-motion footage tells the tale. The agent didn't have to fire. He even let off rounds from the back. After the shooting, agents used pepper spray on protesters trying to prevent them from leaving the scene, escalating things further. Renee Good's mother called her an amazing human being who took care of people her whole life, loving, forgiving, affectionate. She wasn't the type to confront agents. She was compassionate, with a partner heard in footage expressing distress over their young child. This tragedy hits hard because it could be any of us, your sister, your mother, your friend, caught in the crossfire of overzealous enforcement. The Minneapolis City Council condemned ICE's actions outright, standing with immigrant and refugee communities. And national figures are weighing in. Geraldo Rivera questions if a reasonable person would use deadly force here, calling it not even close to self-defense, the bottom line. The video evidence and local statements dismantle the federal claims piece by piece. No injured officers visible. No aggressive lunge, just a woman trying to escape, met with lethal force. This isn't about politics, it's about human life and holding power accountable. We've seen this playbook before, disparaging victims, inflating threats to justify violence. But with footage widely shared, the truth is out there for anyone willing to look. Minneapolis leaders reject the narrative because it's not supported by facts. Protests continue, with hundreds pelting snowballs at police, chanting "ICE out now." And as the FBI leads the investigation, questions loom. Will bodycam footage be released? Will there be real justice? This incident sparks a national firestorm for a reason. It's a wake-up call to the dangers of unchecked federal power in our cities. Renee Good didn't deserve this. Her family doesn't deserve the smears, and our communities don't deserve the fear. Demand transparency, share the videos, call out the lies, because if we let this slide, who's next? Stay vigilant, stay informed, and push for change, because silence lets the spin win. What happens when top officials lie about a deadly shooting on video? The hard truth exposed. Listen close, because this is the raw, unfiltered reality of what happens when powerful people like Donald Trump and Kristi Noem push blatant falsehoods about a tragic killing that's captured clearly on video. We're talking about the January 7, 2026, shooting in Minneapolis, where an ICE agent fired multiple shots into Renee Nicole Good's vehicle, ending the life of a 37-year-old U.S. citizen who was simply trying to navigate a chaotic scene. Federal claims paint her as a violent attacker who weaponized her car and ran over officers. But the videos and eyewitness accounts tell a starkly different story, one of a panicked driver attempting to leave, met with lethal force. And when top officials double down on lies that contradict the evidence, there are real consequences. Not always the dramatic arrests people want, but serious legal, civil, and political fallout that can haunt them for years. Let's lay it out plainly, based on the facts, the law, and what actually plays out in these cases. First, understand the incident without the spin. Renee Nicole Good was in her SUV on Portland Avenue during a massive ICE operation. Videos show her vehicle stationary or moving slowly as agents approach. She reverses slightly, then pulls forward, appearing to try to get away from the confrontation. An agent stands in front, draws his weapon, and fires several rounds at close range through the window. The SUV crashes shortly after. No footage shows her aggressively ramming anyone to injure or kill. Agents are seen standing afterward, with no visible severe injuries requiring hospitalization. Local leaders like Mayor Jacob Frey, who have reviewed the videos, call the self-defense narrative outright garbage. Governor Tim Walz echoes that, demanding independent scrutiny. Yet DHS and Noem label it domestic terrorism, claiming she tried to mow down officers. Trump backs the agent fully, insisting an officer was viciously run over. But the evidence on video doesn't support that. No pinned or critically hurt agents, just a woman losing her life. Now, the big question. What happens when officials like Trump and Noam assert these claims as fact, knowing or recklessly ignoring the contradicting video? Criminal charges for lying alone? Probably not. The First Amendment protects a lot of political speech, even irresponsible or false statements from elected leaders. You can't jail someone just for spinning a story to the public or media. No statute criminalizes general political falsehoods without more. But it gets narrower if those lies tie into official actions. If they knowingly fabricate details in sworn testimony to Congress or in reports guiding federal force that could trigger false statements laws under 18 U.S.C. Section 1001. Or if used to justify deployments, emergency powers, or shield investigations, it opens doors to deeper scrutiny. Still, public press conferences or social media posts rarely hit that criminal threshold. Realistically, no immediate arrests for the lies themselves. That's the frustrating legal truth. No quick handcuffs for misleading the nation. But don't think that means no accountability. Civil liability is a much stronger path, and it's very real here. Defamation suits could come from Renee's family if they prove false claims portrayed her as committing a violent felony, like intentionally running over officers, when video shows otherwise. Public officials like Trump and Noam get some protection, but since Renee was a private citizen, the burden is lower. Reckless disregard for the truth, especially with accessible video evidence, makes this viable. Her family could sue, forcing discovery, depositions, and public exposure of what officials knew versus what they said. Wrongful death or civil rights lawsuits against the government would use these statements as evidence of bad faith, deliberate cover-up, or indifference. Even if Trump and Noam aren't direct defendants, their words undermine defenses and invite massive scrutiny. These cases drag on, cost fortunes, and damage reputations permanently. Then there's congressional oversight, the most likely hammer to fall hard. If proven that senior officials knowingly spread a false narrative, Congress can launch investigations, subpoena records, emails, and testimony. They can refer to the DOJ Inspector General for misconduct probes. Censure is on the table for cabinet members like Noam. Findings from bipartisan or Democratic-led committees carry weight, fueling public pressure and future elections. For Trump, it's more political than legal punishment, but documented lies in official reports erode support and invite endless hearings. Abuse of authority adds another layer. If these statements preempt real investigations, influence witnesses, or justify excessive force policies, it borders on obstruction. Prosecutors might examine if lies shielded the agent or manipulated public perception during an active FBI probe. Charges are rare, but the damage is done. Trust in institutions crumbles, protests flare, and division deepens. To be crystal clear on what won't happen. No swift criminal indictments just for contradicting video in public statements. Courts don't police every political exaggeration. That's not satisfying, but it's the system. Lies don't always land people in jail outright. The real cost hits elsewhere. These false claims will poison every lawsuit and investigation. They'll be exhibit in civil rights cases showing institutional bias. Congressional records will cite them for years. Public outrage builds when video exposes the disconnect, eroding legitimacy of the entire operation. Renee's death becomes a rallying point because the spin fails against undeniable footage. Families pursue justice through courts that can award damages and force change. Accountability often lands in settlements, policy shifts, or electoral backlash, not handcuffs. This is where lies truly bite power. They fuel distrust, invite lawsuits that drain resources, and turn tragedies into enduring scandals. When video shreds the narrative, officials pay through exposure, legal battles, and lost credibility. Renee Nicole Good deserved better, a compassionate community member, not smeared as a terrorist. Her story demands transparency. Release bodycams, full videos, independent reviews, because unchecked falsehoods from the top don't just mislead, they endanger lives and fracture society. Stand for truth, demand answers, and hold power to the evidence. That's how real change happens. The system takes advantage of people because they get away with it. Laws only exist for civilians if we defend ourselves and stand against the system. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Follow so we can stay connected. Your support matters more than you know, and I appreciate every moment you give to listen. Your support is important to me, and it helps me a lot. It keeps me active, bringing you important information with your support and comments, likes, and shares. Feel free to like, support, and subscribe. I will always provide content for you. I appreciate every support you give. If you need Spanish translation, let me know in the comments, and I will gladly do it for you in my future posts. Crowning Thoughts True Speaker Copyright 2025 by Santiago D.C. Maria, licensed under Creative Commons Attribution. I love you all and I appreciate each of you. Stay blessed. Thank you for listening. Love always. Santiago D.C. Maria.
Thank you for listening to Santiago DC.